The BJP launching a scathing attack against Aam Aadmi Party's Health Minister in the capital, Satyendar Jain. Joining us now, the senior BJP minister who's leading the charge against the Aam Aadmi Party, Smriti Irani, now joins us on the news track. Smriti ji, welcome. The Aam Aadmi Party seems to suggest it's because they believe they're making inroads in the state of Himachal Pradesh, adjacent to Punjab, which is why the BJP has launched this massive political attack against them. Why do you believe it's time for Satyendar Jain to step down?
If Punjab, Rahul, if Punjab is a testimony to what the Aam Aadmi Party can do to a state, then definitely now the people of this country know that Aam Aadmi Party means anarchy. Aam Aadmi Party means support for anarchists. Aam Aadmi Party means lawlessness in a state. You and your channel have consistently and incessantly reported on the law and order situation in Punjab. So I think the greatest service any Aam Aadmi Party leader can currently do when it comes to what their governance methodology is not to invoke the name of the government of Punjab. Now that being said, when it comes to the state of Himachal, elections are yet to happen there. However, I like the false confidence that the Aam Aadmi Party is projecting with regards to protection of Satyendra Jain and the forthcoming assembly elections in Himachal. The question today was not assembly elections. The question today was not the political abilities of Satyendra Jain. The question is the fantastic financial capacities of Satyendra Jain to accumulate ill-gotten wealth. And the question is, why is Arvind Kejriwal silent? This question has come forth because it is Arvind Kejriwal who chose to speak out to the public at large and give Satyendra Jain a clean chit. And the reason why today I did a press conference is to ask pertinent questions. I hold with me a document of the court from the year 2019, which categorically now brings to light that Satyendra Jain had ill-gotten wealth from shell companies, that these companies went before the taxation systems in our country and asked to be taxed on this undisclosed income. This is not a position taken by the BJP. This is a position taken by companies that had a beneficial holding by Satyendra Jain himself. The court order also states very clearly that two people, Vaibhav Jain and Mr. Ankush Jain, are the people who were representing the ill-gotten wealth of Satyendra Jain. This is not a statement made by the BJP or any other political entity. This is on record a statement by the Delhi High Court. My disappointment is that the alacrity with which Mr. Kejriwal came out yesterday to give Mr. Jain a clean chit is missing today. After my questions that were posed publicly, I haven't heard a response to a single one of the questions posed.
The Aam Aadmi Party,
why this deafening silence on the questions that I've posed today?
The Aam Aadmi Party says in its defense that Satyendra Jain left these companies in the year 2013 at a time when he wasn't in a public position. And any transaction that these companies may have entered into after 2015-2016 cannot now be blamed on Satyendra Jain's shoulders, who by then was no longer present in these 5 companies. That's their defense.
So allow me to elaborate. I had talked about 4 companies. One of them, I'll just give you a small detail. Paryas Info Solutions had a financial transaction in the year 15-16. Mangalyatan Projects Private Limited had financial transactions in 15-16. Akinchin Developers Private Limited had financial transactions between 15-16. Today I spoke about 200 bighas of land which have been bought by Mr. Satyendra Jain's companies while he was in office, in areas which were surrounding unauthorized colonies. Post-purchase of these 200 bighas of land, those colonies were regularized by the Aam Aadmi Party government. So for the Aam Aadmi Party to say that Mr. Jain has nothing to do with these entities while he was in service as minister in the Kejriwal government is nothing but a statement filled with untruths and positioned with malicious intent. This document of the Delhi High Court and the order is dated August 2019.
The AAP also says, ma'am, in its defense that these are charges that have been
so
looked at.
Since Mr. Kejriwal, allow
yes.
me to finish. I'm sorry, I'm intervening.
No problem.
These charges have not been looked at in its entirety. Mr. Kejriwal yesterday, in defense of Mr. Satyendar Jain, came out and said he has seen every piece of paper with regards to the allegations against Mr. Jain and is sufficiently appraised of the issue. My question to him today was, did he know of this court order? If yes, this is the position taken by Mr. Jain's company, that he had ill-gotten gains of 16 crores 39 lakhs which were to be taxed. That was his position. Is Mr. Kejriwal of the opinion that a gentleman who serves with him at his pleasure in the Delhi government does so after publicly declaring to a court that yes, he has amassed ill-gotten wealth?
So the AAP says two things. One, the CBI has looked at these cases. They've given him a clean sheet. No action was taken. Now, because he's been made Himachal in charge, therefore the ED is cracked into action. The second thing is that he wasn't in the companies at that time. When these transactions happened, they say he wasn't in the company.
Since you insist, I am but compelled to read from 2-3 areas of this particular discussion and this particular court proceedings. The fact is, and I'm reading from clause 30, page 16 of 18, that the petitioners have themselves enclosed a copy of the order dated 2017, passed in respect of the Benamidar, which inter alia notes that the cash that was routed through accommodation entries in the garb of share capital premium in fact belonged to Mr. Satyendra Jain, and it was at his direction that the entire transaction was orchestrated. What is pertinent to note is that what this entire line begins with, that the petitioners themselves have enclosed this copy, that it was Satyendra Jain who orchestrated this entire transaction. Why Arvind Kejriwal deems this as a clean sheet or a certificate of character for Satyendra Jain baffles me.
Do you believe it's time for Satyendar Jain to step down? Some of these charges about illegal colonies being regularized are particularly problematic in light of the kind of moral halo on corruption that Kejriwal has sought to build. Do you think he's protecting Jain incorrectly and he should step down?
There is no moral halo. There is no moral halo. My apologies, Rahul. There is no moral halo. And I say this why? Because this is an order which was obviously available to Mr. Kejriwal. Since he claimed himself yesterday publicly that he has read through every piece of paper, what baffles me, like I said, is why did he not act on this? Secondly is, why is it that he is married to the falling star, and I'm using that as a political phrase, of Satyendra Jain? Like I said in the questionnaire that I put forth publicly, why is it that the Aam Aadmi Party regularized colonies in the vicinity of which, from this ill-gotten wealth, Satyendra Jain bought 200 bighas of land while Satyendra Jain was in office? This is not about a halo. This is about a very invigorating, corrupt practice that happened right under the nose of Mr. Kejriwal. Why Satyendra Jain a Kejriwal Majboori is something that only Mr. Kejriwal can answer.
Are you suggesting that Satyendar Jain has done favors, possibly financial, for Kejriwal, which is why the Delhi Chief Minister is protecting him, ma'am?
Can an entire government come together and regularize a colony around which bighas of land have been bought by a particular minister from ill-gotten wealth? Again, why an entire government did this is an answer only Kejriwal can give.
Well, we'll leave it over there.
But it's interesting that they held a press conference after mine. But they never answered these two questions.